holiday season, and the problem is there always seems to be unexpected guests stopping by, or hostess gifts you have to give, or you just plain forgot to shop for someone. Well, I have the solution for you. This year, why don't you make these vintage-inspired sugar plum puffs from 1967? They're the perfect holiday cookie because they're easy to make, they look beautiful, and they last forever. Hi everyone, my name is Bethany Herway, and this is Making It Modern, where I recreate a vintage recipe and then use it as inspiration to create a new dish. Now this is my holiday special, and I'm gonna do things a little bit differently. As I was looking through my vintage Good Housekeeping's complete Christmas cookbook, I stumbled across these sugar plum puffs, and I was delighted by their retro kitschiness. So I made a batch of them, and they are simply wonderful. So for this episode, I'm only going to be making the vintage recipe, but then I'm going to show you a few modern decorating tricks to help you with your holiday gift giving. Begin by setting your oven to 200 degrees. You're going to cook these low and slow. Next, you're going to separate your egg whites from your egg yolks. I like to use 3 separate bowls for this. The first is for the whites, the second is for the yolks, and the third is to deposit the egg whites when you're certain there is no egg yolk in it. If you only use 2 bowls and you accidentally get yolk in the whites, then the whole thing must be thrown out because the whites will never properly whip. In a small bowl, mix together 1.5 cups of sugar and 1/4 teaspoon cream of tartar. In a mixing bowl, start to beat the eggs at high speed until the whites are stiff but not dry. Then begin to add the sugar 1 tablespoon at a time until it is all incorporated into the egg whites. Finally, add 1.5 teaspoons of vanilla extract. To create different colors of meringue, place 1/3 of the mixture in one bowl and 1/3 of the mixture in a second bowl. Then use food coloring to make the pink and the green, and leave the last third white. With an ice cream scoop, carefully drop rounded puffs onto a baking sheet covered in parchment paper. I like to go back and use a knife to smooth everything out. Now it's time to decorate. Using different colored sugars, candies, and edible dust, create pretty little designs on your meringues. Once they're finished, place in the oven for 2 hours. Let them cool, and then you can store them in between layers of wax paper, or you can make them modern by decorating them with sugar sticks and food-grade paper. Start by cutting off the stick and then flipping it over. Carefully stick it in the top of the meringue puff. Be gentle because the meringue is very delicate. Next, wrap the puff up in a piece of square patterned wax paper and tie with a string. I used puffball yarn found at my local craft store. Isn't that just gorgeous? And for those of you who want to make these for Hanukkah, just cut the ball off the sugar stick, carefully insert in a meringue, and then wrap the whole thing in plain white parchment paper and tie it off in the same way. By making these sugar plum puffs, you'll have plenty of gifts to give that are vintage in style, but with a modern twist. Happy holidays!